Hi everybody. Today we're going to talk about connecting with spiritual guidance and why it's so important now more than ever. We're all connected, but for many, the hurdles of modern life can be difficult to maintain or grow this connection. So of course, this is my take on the energy and this subject, and because of that, it may not resonate with everyone. If it doesn't resonate with you, no worries, just pass it on by, and I do hope you find what you're looking for. So at its core, spiritual guidance is the process and experience of receiving wisdom from the divine. This could be from angels, spirit guides, your higher self, the collective consciousness, or the universe. For some people, this translates to being God. For others, it's more about connecting with their own personal intuition. But no matter what you call it, spiritual guidance isn't tied to a specific religion or only for religious people. We all have the ability to connect to the divine and tap into this wisdom. In today's video, we're going to explore why this is so important right now, and I will offer some simple ways you can grow this connection. First, what's stopping you from connecting? Perhaps you've had a moment of connection and felt the inner knowing or even received actionable signs from your guides or spirit. Yeah? And you felt it, but for some reason you can't connect when you want to. Or perhaps you're striving for this connection that people keep talking about and you want to experience it for yourself, but it just hasn't happened and you're probably at a loss as to how to make this connection. Well, I have some good news and some bad news. Fortunately, this is available to everyone. Unfortunately, it's becoming more and more difficult for people to connect. We're living in a busier, more stress-filled time. Plus, as the world becomes rapidly more connected through technology, we become more disconnected from ourselves and from spirit. To forge a connection, we need daily quiet time. Why? Because being connected 24/7 and operating from a stressed or exhausted state blocks us from this connection. That's why daily meditation is such an asset. We need to slow down and we need to be present to sense this connection and to receive messages. Including meditation in your daily routine will make time and space for this. Besides time to reflect, we also need an open mind and downtime to connect to our inner guidance. As I said, in today's world, we face challenges both individually and collectively. Plus, there's a very high level of stress that's affecting our bodies, mind, and emotions constantly. Our lives are filled with this intense energy as we also witness widespread social, political, and climate change. Uncertainty about the future, fear of the unknown, the list goes on and on. So you can see why most people are in a higher level of stress than ever before. And stress is everywhere, so much so that it has become normal. And most people are functioning at high levels of stress that they just accept, and they think that's just the way it has to be. So it's easy to see how all of these factors added together equal major energetic blocks that keep us from connecting to our higher self, spirit, and the collective. We have an inborn connection with intuition and our spiritual guidance. Although it's not easy to find time in our daily lives, this connection is there if we will seek it out. If we don't, and we shut that door and we ignore our intuition, then it's likely we're going to feel even more overwhelmed, more stressed out, and we may also have a feeling of emptiness that kind of just permeates over us because we aren't connected. And if that wasn't enough, this is also the time of a greater spiritual light expanding on earth, which is a good thing because it is helping us to awaken to spirituality. But it's creating a major cleansing process for us on all levels. We're talking spiritual, emotional, and physical. And because of that, the pain of the past may come back up to be dealt with. So if you're struggling with reoccurring thoughts, an overactive mind, if trauma from the past that you thought you dealt with keeps coming up, or even bizarre physical symptoms that come and go, it's likely part of this awakening. And we're all developing ways to mitigate and live with this higher level of stress. Some of those are positive and some of those are negative and are actually self-sabotaging. So before you go about your normal routine of mitigating the stress, look at it and see if it is actually a positive action you're about to take or a negative action. For instance, are you going for a run in the park? That's probably positive. Are you picking up another 6-pack? That's probably negative. That in turn will either lighten the load and make it easier for you to connect or add another layer of energetic blocks that will in turn make it even more difficult to connect to spirit. So if you're at a loss as where to begin, I suggest that you set a clear intention to reconnect with yourself. You can obviously start meditating and building time in your daily schedule for quiet. Could be through walking in the park, could be spending time journaling or making art. Then very soon you will start drawing the people, situations, and tools you need to further connect with your own inner guidance. One of the most useful and simple ways to navigate through these very intense times is, of course, to develop that deeper connection and to be able to tap into spiritual guidance. So we need it more than ever, but it's also more difficult to connect. So if you're like most people, there's a good chance that your routine is the same each day. You build a pattern because that's what humans do. We build a pattern. What works, we stick to it. And then very quickly it becomes ingrained and also ritualized. While on the surface there's nothing wrong with it, except it could be creating a barrier to receiving spiritual direction. It's very hard to experience the spiritual connection when we're stuck in a rut or walking around on autopilot. If you always go to the same supermarket and you always get there the same way, you always take the same route, you always go on the same day, you always go to the same cashier, yeah, you're probably in a rut. Changing things up frees up stale and stuck energy that could be holding you back, and it also creates space for the new energy and new insights to come forward. Inner guidance is a gift from our soul to be embodied. Another reason you may not be able to connect to your inner guidance or to spirit is that as a child you may have turned off this connection. And we do this because as children, we are taught to conform to social standards, what is acceptable, what isn't, what we should say and what we shouldn't, and how we should act. So because of that, you have disconnected it or turned it off. But no matter how disconnected you may feel from your inner spiritual guidance, everyone has the ability to nurture and strengthen this very important part of ourselves. Living with an active and awake inner spiritual guidance offers us the opportunity to perceive and experience a whole new creative dimension or life. The universe of spiritual reality is vast, and when intuition is activated, new experiences begin to open and create more meaningful possibilities. Opportunities appear, new doors open for us. So not only are we expanding our daily life, we're also nurturing this for our spiritual path, and it can help us form deeper connections to our own inner truth. So while today's world is so much about being connected, you need time alone in nature or at least in solitude to be able to connect. So set an intention to really work on connecting with your spiritual guidance, your higher self, your angels, your guides, whatever it may be, and follow through. If that means attempting to meditate 5 minutes in the morning, then go ahead and say that you will do that for the rest of the month. Be open to hearing. Be open to messages that do come. In the beginning, it's probably going to be ego. It's probably going to be your subconscious talking to you, and that's fine. That's why it's really wise to, in the beginning, to jot all this stuff down so that you can start to see that maybe some of it is just worry, some of it is just repeating patterns of thought. But as you continue to practice, you will see that spirit is actually speaking to you. Okay, I'm going to share one final reason why you need to connect with your intuition immediately. Discernment. How wonderful would it be to be able to know what is legitimate, what is true, what is right for you, instead of having to guess or wonder. If we're disconnected from ourselves and the center of our being, then it's easier for us to be swayed also in the direction that moves away from love and truth. And it's very easy for us to do things that we may later regret. Developing our own inner spiritual guidance offers the gift of discernment, allowing us to see clearly what is and what isn't for us. And it makes it much easier for us to navigate the great challenges that we face in the world. So there are many, many reasons to connect to your higher self, connect to spirit. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, we're going to be talking about other ways you can do this. If this seems like something that you would like, then why not consider subscribing so you don't miss any of the new videos. Thank you guys so much for being here and being a part of the community. I'll speak to you soon. Reiki Blessings. Bye-bye.